Please put your hands together for David Heinen.
So my story is about a birth, which isn't a breakup unless you really think about it. So my nephew was born last month. I'm a first-time uncle, first nephew, first child in the next generation of my family. So it's a big deal. I mean, he's not the first one to be born, but in my family, he's the first, so we're really excited about it. I'm a first-time uncle. I had to grapple with that. Like, what's my role? What do I do? What does it mean to be an uncle? He was born at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah. Which to me, I mean, I'm a morning person personally. I wake up at like 6 or earlier. So if I wake up at 7:30, I feel like my whole day is over. So I'm not saying he botched it, but he was chilling in his room, like. So it was 7:30 in the morning, and it was on a Wednesday. I remember that. And again, like, I think Wednesday's a fine day to arrive. It kind of breaks up the week. But like, one of the things I was thinking about when he arrived was, again, I'm an uncle now. I had really didactic uncles. I learned a lot from them. So I kind of internalized that what you do as an uncle is you explain stuff. So I'm thinking, again, as this is happening, I'm like, it's a Wednesday, what a great day. But he doesn't know that, you know? Like, so now I'm thinking, like, wait, weeks and weekends, like, he doesn't know that either. Like, how cool is that? We get 5 days on, 2 days off. You can go to work and school. I don't want to go to school yet, though, because that's going to be a big part of his life. Like, and now you've got like student loan debt and people going to grad school and they don't know what to do with their lives. I don't want to overwhelm him, you know. So I'm really thinking about what to do on this first day of his life, my first day as an uncle. This was during the week last month, y'all might remember, where the weather was just awesome. I mean, it was just beautiful, like day after day. Not too hot, not too cold. I remember talking to people like from other states and, you know, on the phone, and I was just like, this is as good as it gets. It wasn't even too humid, which is the downfall, you know, this time of year. And again, I'm thinking to myself, like, wait, somebody's got to tell him that it's not always this nice out. Like my first time in England, for example, it didn't rain at all. And I was like, this is a myth. The weather's beautiful here. And the locals were telling me, no, this isn't how it usually is. So I'm thinking, okay, somebody's got to tell him that it's not usually this nice out. There's so much you have to explain, you know? So it was a Wednesday. I had to work. I have a job that I work at, so I was working at the job. And I couldn't go to introduce myself until the evening. So I got there, and there was just like a sliver of moon when I was walking in. I was like, oh my gosh, he hasn't seen the moon yet. Like, there's just so much to share, you know? So I get there, and my brother and my sister-in-law are in the birthing suite. They're just exhausted, and I'm beaming. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. And my sister, like, what do you say in that situation? You know, there's just the four of us in the room, just a little small talk. And she's like, oh, thank you so much for coming. You didn't have to come today. I know you're busy. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. Like, I love meeting new people. Like, this is awesome. So in short order, I'm given the boy. It's like he's deposited on my lap. I'm sitting in a chair next to the bed. I've got a pillow on my lap. And like, I'm a pretty coordinated person. You know, I'm like a former athlete and all that. Like, I have pretty good hand-eye coordination, but I'm terrified. I mean, it's a brand new thing. Like, you know when you get a new phone and you just like don't want anyone to touch it, and then after a couple months you're just throwing it around? Like, I don't want to break the little guy, so I'm giving him and I'm holding him, and he fits like right here between like my wrist and my elbow. Which, like, brief aside, how many people in your life can you say that? Like, that's a really uncommon size for a human being. So maybe like a dog or a cat, but. So my first thought when I have my nephew is like, he's so little. He's useless. Like what can he accomplish? Look at his hands. Like they're tiny. He couldn't even hold a toothbrush. He's got no teeth to brush. Like what has he accomplished on this day? I mean, at the same time, he, cleared his lungs, and he basically became amphibious, which is crazy. He breathed for the first time, which is important. You got to start the healthy habits, when you're young. But he's so small. But then all of a sudden, I see, like, in profile right next to the boy is my sister-in-law. And now I'm thinking, like, I'm comparing the length of the boy to the length of her midriff. And I'm just like, he's so big. How did you stomach him? Like, what is happening right now? So, needless to say, I was not emotionally prepared to be an uncle. And now the moment's come to say my first words to my nephew. And at that moment, he opens his eyes. And it's like the third time he's opened his eyes. Not for long. I mean, he was just like, he's struggling. His eyelids have no idea what they're doing. And my brother and my sister-in-law were so excited, and they were like, oh, this is like his most active all day. And I'm like, really? Like, that's it? But nonetheless, like, I had to say something. I wanted to get off on the right foot, make a good first impression. So I just looked at him and I said, because again, like, this is my nephew. Like, I love the little guy, and like I want to be there for him. And like when he runs away from home at like 10 or 11, I want him to come to my house. Like, I want there to be credit in the relational bank account, and I want to really invest in him. And like, what do you say? So I just looked at him and I said, hey, I just want you to know that it's not usually this nice outside. And that's how it started. So, thanks.